Okay, there is one more video I wanted to make about labs you can do. So this one is a motor lab, motor experiment. All right. For this one, you will need to get some D batteries. There are no more at the present time in the science department, but you'll have all the way till the end of the year to manage to get some D batteries. So anyway, these are some kits that we purchased a long time back. It's called the world's simplest motor, and that's what it looks like. So there are instructions on the back. The instructions are to wind a coil of wire around a D battery, and then you twist the sides together to make armatures. And then you're going to sand off half of the armature only because it is covered with non-conductive enamel. So you sand off, say, the bottom half of each arm, like shown there, right there. So you sand off the bottom half, but not the top half, and it's kind of shown in diagram form here where you sand off the bottom half but not the top half. Then you take two of these guys and you put them up through here. You need to make sure that the bent part faces inwards. I'm doing this video without a stand, so I don't really have two hands to work with here. But they go in like this. All right, so just like that, with the bent side facing inwards to hold the battery. And once they're out the top, they form the holders for that loop of wire that you're going to create, or that the students will create. And then on top is our magnet that provides the permanent magnet, the magnetic field. And then you've got the coil of wire, which will hook into the D battery, which is in the bottom there. So D battery provides the power. The energy comes up through these guys. The coil of wire sits inside these little cutouts, and then it will spin. So kind of looks like that. There's a diagram of what it looks like when it's done. So that's what it looks like when it's finished. And then in this bin, I have two little demo coils of wire. All right. This lighter colored coil is properly sanded, though it will probably not work in a year. But you can see the shiny part has been sanded off, and then the painted part is still on there, right? This other one is supposed to not work because I've sanded it all the way around. You can see that it's shiny the whole way around. Now theoretically that should make it not work. Unfortunately, it kind of still works. At least it did this year. When I tried to use it as a demo of not working, it still spun. So that was unfortunate. But this other one, yeah, so those are what the loops should look like, sort of like that when they're done. And I've got a little thing tied to it that tells you about these demo loops. Okay. Now, these are the things that you would actually use for the students. So you would give this to a student, and they would use this to make their own coil. Or this one, or whatever. I still have, you know, I've got this many of these left that are kind of reused from previous years. You can just clip off the part that gets sanded, and if it's still long enough, you can just reuse the rest of the coil for another student at a later time. However, you don't even have to use any of those coils that I made because we have these. We have this as well, which is a stock of wire, basically, that's enameled. It's called Electromagnet Wire, and we have this one as well. So there is plenty of wire available, and I'll just show you where I keep these. These are kept over here in the bottom there. So I just turn the light on here. So they're kept down here. There are some other wires here as well, but these two are the main the main two electromagnet wire spools. So they're right there. Right? I'll just talk briefly about this as well. This is a toilet paper motor. And this is a lot more complicated, okay? It's the same kind of idea as this one, but if you want it to take a lot longer and have a lot more opportunity for not working correctly, I guess, you could have students do this one instead. Apparently we've got some rubber bands here. Yeah, these rubber bands, these were part of the process of creating the things. They're old and they probably won't work. If you're going to do that, you'll need your own rubber bands, like purchased new, because rubber bands die in the Philippines. But anyway, yeah, so this is basically what you end up making out of a toilet paper roll. Like this. The instructions are all here, and I'll probably make sure that that the file is available. The problem here is that it's all written in German, because I got this from somebody who visited Faith Academy and then told me about this thing that they had designed, but it was all in German because the guy was German. So anyway, this is what it looks like when it's finished, right? So you've got, it's a much more robust motor than the one we were just talking about. This is a lot closer to a real motor, but it's kind of complicated. And if you don't wind it correctly, it doesn't work. And part of the problem is that the directions for how to wind it are not correct on here. Like the indication is that you're supposed to cross it over here, but you're actually supposed to cross it over in a different spot in order for it to actually work. Yeah, it's got to cross like this. It has to cross across the middle. Bang, like that, instead of going like this. So the crossing, if you make this, look closely at this one that I've already made. This one works. So if you decide to try to do this, you've got to mimic this guy. You've got to look at how this one was done and do it like this. In the end, the way that you get it to work is by putting a piece of standard just Scotch tape over half of this, and same thing on the other side. And that's how you get half of this thing to be non-conductive and the other half conductive, and that's how you end up getting a functional motor out of it without having a, what do you call it? Without having a split ring commutator. All right. So anyway, this does work. You have to hook it up to a power supply, such as these over here. So you would have to hook it up to that in order to be able to supply the power to it. Actually, while I'm mentioning that, there are also some fuses here, and they're labeled as to what they're for. So these fuses are for the large beige power supplies, and these fuses are for the small black power supplies. So these fuses are for these guys. Right, there's a spot that says fuse right there. So, yep. Anyway, there you go. This is the motors. These are the options for making motors. There's a bunch of coils here as well. Some bunch of wires that are about the right length for doing this this lab. So, yeah, this one takes a long time. And here's these are the axles. There's a bunch of axles here already made if you decided to pursue this. So, all right. Anyway, that's that. Take care.